Mr. Pickwick.
Yes.
Can we not postpone this meeting until next week when we're finally allowed back in the Phoenix Saloon?
You have some gall, sir, for it was you who had us banished from the Phoenix due to the incident you caused last week. For your insubordination, you'll find a shilling.
Oh, you can't find me yet. We haven't even started our meeting.
Games. Somebody said games. Very well, Mr. Slurk. We'll play games. Miss Wilson, the time, please.
Oh, well, now I will remind you, Mr. Pickwick, that it is quite customary that for the duration of our secret meetings we refer to one another by our Pickwickian names. So please refer to me as Mrs. Snuphanuph.
Of course, apologies, Mrs. Snuphanuph. Mrs. Snuphanuph, the time, please.
It is the best of times, Mr. Hankin.
Oh, hypocrisy!
Mr. Pickwick.
Yes. Do we have quorum?
No, hardly half of us are here.
Splendid. God save our gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen. God save our Queen. God save the Queen.
God save the Queen.
I hereby declare this meeting of the Barkerville Pickwick Club to be open. Mr. Slurk has fined a shilling for his insubordination.
Shame! Huzzay!
Item 1. A toast to our Queen. Let us raise our glasses, or anything we may have before us, to the Queen!
To the Queen!
God save Her Majesty.
God save Her Majesty.
Item 2. A toast to our patron, Charles Dickens, who, in the year 1836, completed his first novel entitled The Posthumous Papers of the Pickwick Club. From this time forward, the works of Dickens shall fill us with wonder and delight. And when we gather together, 'tis Dickens himself whom we honour. To Dickens!
To Dickens!
God save the Dickens.
God save His Majesty.
Item 3. Our mandate. Yes, a gathering of ladies and gentlemen of the most exquisite nature shall meet regularly, and very, very secretly, in a saloon of distinction, the Phoenix. To adopt pseudonyms from Charles Dickens' premier novel, The Posthumous Papers of the Pickwick Club. It is our charge, nay, it is our privilege to discuss the Pickwick Papers, world affairs, health, injustices, the weather. Ooh, my new trousers.
Very nice, Mr. Pickwick.
Anything else that takes our fancy. But never shall we conform to those narrow views of such philosophers who, content with that which lies before them, look not to the truths which are hidden beyond. Now here's the jewel within your reach, the motto of the Barkerville Pickwick Club. Honor, friendship, and harmony. Treasure this and we will never regret it. Item 4, rules of the meeting. Mrs. Snuphanuph, please.
Thank you, Mr. Pickwick. Rules of the meeting. All members are required to observe the following rules with exquisite grace, technique, and good humour. Rule number 1, respect to the Queen and her heirs.
God save Her Majesty.
Rule number 2, no teetotalers.
No teetotalers.
Rule number 3, respect to Dickens and his work.
God save the Dickens.
Rule number 4, no teetotalers.
No
No teetotalers.
Rule number 5. Fine shall be levied against offenders at the exquisite discretion of the chairman. Rule number 6, no teetotalers.
No
No teetotalers.
Rule number 7, there is no rule number 7.
No.
Rule number 8, always remember this: if it is not serious, then by Dickens it had better be silly.
Thank you, Lady Snuphanuph. Item 5, the reading of the Pickwick Papers, which is to be heard with polite attention.
Mr. Pickwick, before we start with the reading of the papers, I was wondering if we could first propose a toast to Mr. James Lumley for his irrefutable evidence of life from beyond the stars.
Absolutely not. You are interrupting the reading of the Pickwick Papers. You will find a shilling for your insubordination.
Shame.
Huzzay!
Huzzay. Ooh, but I just got an idea, just off the top of my head. I believe at this juncture we should perhaps interrupt our proceedings to propose a toast to Mr. James Lumley, for his irrefutable evidence of life from beyond the stars. But a little toast to James Lumley. Item 6, the reading of the Pickwick Papers, which is to be heard with polite attention. Mr. Snodgrass, your selection for this reading.
Thank you, honoured Chairman Mr. Pickwick. I am going to read from Chapter 2, The First Day's Journey and the First Evening's Adventures with Their Consequences. Paragraph 1.
Brilliant. That was was a most polite and solemn reading of our honored literature. In fact, if I may say so, I do not believe that Mr. Slurk could have read it any finer himself. You'll find a shilling, Mr. Slurk. May we all hope you've learned your lesson, sir.
Huzzay!
Huzzay! Item 7, world events. Are there any world events to speak of? Anyone? Anyone with a world event? Anyone? Anyone?
I suppose I have one.
Mrs. Snuphanuph, please.
I move that the weasel stampedes of Spasm are far too silly to even be bothered with.
Oh, I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Mrs. Snuphanuph. Hopefully our glorious colony can put all this nonsense to rest when this motion is published up in our very own Cariboo Sentinel newspaper. You find something amusing, Mr. Slurk?
Well, I don't think Mr. Holloway's going to publish that rubbish in the Sentinel.
Mr. Slurk, you will find a shilling for your insubordination.
Shame.
Huzzay!
Huzzay! Item 11, extraordinary discoveries. Finally, my favorite. Is there anyone with an extraordinary discovery they wish to share? Anyone? Anyone at all? Anyone? Anyone at all?
I have something I wish to share with the assembled
Mr.
group.
Snodgrass, please.
I was reading the Cariboo Sentinel newspaper last week and I came across an article describing an object found on the Dilla Claim. An object that to all observations appears to be a bone. Now, I have it on good authority that our caribou has in the distant past been affected by oceanic coverage. And if the remaining bones and specimens were to be found, assembled, they would create the skeleton of something like a whale. However, I must remind all of you assembled that these remaining specimens have yet to be found. Therefore, I move that these remains be officially recognised as those of a sea monster.
Heavens!
I will second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Snodgrass. Walk safely at night, my fellow Pickwickians, for we have sea monsters in our midst. I am sorry. It is not a sea monster. It's just Mr. Slurk. You'll find a shilling for your insubordination.
Shame! Huzzay!
Huzzay! Is there anyone else with an extraordinary discovery they wish to share? Anyone? Anyone at all? Anyone? Just put up your hand. Very well, I suppose there's no one. Moving on. Item 22. Disciplinary action. Yes, comrades. As we're all well aware, generally speaking, our meetings are held within the glorious confines of the Phoenix Saloon. However, due to the widespread nature of Mr. Slurk's incident last week, we are banished to the schoolhouse for a fortnight, placing dire constraints on our ability to quaff a good pint. Therefore, Mr. Slurk shall now undergo the rite of penance and absolution.
Fine.
Mr. Slurk, is it true that you had us banished from Joe Denny's when you stated at the end of last week's meeting, what does the moon have any expletive thing to do with this weather, any expletive way expletive?
I said no such thing.
Very good of you to make a full confession, Mr. Slurk. Now, tell us, what is the jewel within your reach, the motto of the Barkerville Pickwick Club?
Honor, friendship, and harmony.
We will never regret it. Now, if your heart is truly that of a Pickwickian, you shall deliver a toast to the immortal legend of our patron, Charles Dickens. Do you want to make this toast,
Entertaining.
entertaining. But not frivolous. Do not be frivolous this week. And, what else?
Factual.
Yes, factual. Relatively speaking, of course. Oh, and Mr. Slurk, do the dance.
Must I?
Yes.
Yes, this meeting we should like to see a slow waltz, fast jig, 2 wiggly bits, a hop, 2 flourishes,
All right.
and a twist.
Right. Two Dickens! Blended, Mr. Slurk. You have undergone the rite of penance and absolution. You are forgiven in the eyes of your comrades, and for your insubordination you are fined 3 crowns.
Shame!
Huzzay!
Huzzay. Is there any other business that our members wish to discuss before the adjournment?
Well, actually, yes, now that we've concluded our meeting, I was hoping we could discuss donations to the Royal Cariboo Hospital.
Absolutely not! You are interrupting the proceedings of this society! You'll find your 7 Vatican scudi.
Not my scooty.
Pay the scudi.
Huzzah!
Item 33. Meeting adjourned. And to remind all of you, this meeting is classified. As for you, if you could just look right here. Yes. Follow the watch. Follow the watch. Now, repeat after me.
After me.
What I saw here today
What I saw here today
never happened.
never happened.
Splendid.
Splendid.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here comes Henry Curry, he's always in a hurry, teaming up the Cariboo Road. He makes the horse go through the dust and the snow, teaming up the Cariboo Road. You should see him sprinting to the ball at Clinton, teaming up the Cariboo Road. He makes the legs prance just like the horse dance, teaming up the Cariboo Road.